Hi guys, welcome to Leave Reacts. Hope everyone's having a good day. I know I am. We are back for our Frank Friday video of the week, and we're gonna be starting Joe's Garage. I don't have any requests for him or anything, so I do this with other bands. I don't know why I've done this with him before. I guess because I always had someone picking on, to be honest. So we're gonna be starting Joe's Garage, and I know it's like a 3-part epic. It's an opera basically. What did they describe it as? It was 2 separate albums on Zappa Records released in 1979. One was released in September. The other one was released in November. The story is told by the Central Scrutinizer, narrating the story of Joe, an average adolescent male from Canoga Park, Los Angeles, who forms a garage rock band, has unsatisfying relationships with women, gives all of his money to a government-assisted and insincere religion, explores sexual activities with appliances, and is imprisoned. And then there's other stuff that follows as well. We have done, I believe, the last track on this album, just in Lee Reacts fashion. Watermelon and Easter Hay. We did. I think that's it, though. To be honest, I'm honestly trying to remember. I think that's it. So this is gonna be a fresh listen for me. So I'm very excited. I heard this is one of his best, and I'm pretty sure if this came out in '79, this was probably like a one of those albums, since the disco craze was going crazy then. So I bet everyone's like, oh, thank God. Thank you, Frank. I'll link the Zappa playlist up there. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps. All right, the Central Scrutinizer, Frank Zappa. 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Central Scrutinizer. It is my responsibility.
The first 2 tracks.
To enforce all the laws that haven't been passed yet. It is also my responsibility to alert each and every one of you to the potential consequences of various ordinary, everyday activities you might be performing, which could eventually lead to the death penalty or affect your parents' credit rating.
What?
Our criminal institution.
They had that in '79?
Full of little creeps like you who do wrong things. And many of them were driven to these crimes by a horrible force called music. Studies have shown that this horrible force is so
That bass is gnarly.
society at large that laws
And that's Vinny, right?
drawn up at this very moment
Killing it.
to stop it forever. Cruel and inhuman punishments are being carefully described in tiny paragraphs so they won't conflict with the Constitution, which itself is being modified in order to accommodate the future. I
Prophetic?
bring you now a special presentation to show what can happen to you if you choose a career in music.
What an intro.
White zone is for loading and unloading only. If you have to load or unload, go to the white zone. You'll love it. It's a way of life. Hi, it's me. I'm back. This is the Central
Come on, bro. It's like Freak Out.
We take you now to a garage in Anoka Park.
Makes its own sauce. It wasn't very large. There was just enough room to cram the drums in the corner over by the Dodge. It was a 54 with a mashed up door and a cheesy little lamp, with a sign on the front said Fender Champ and a second-hand guitar. It was a Stratocaster with a whammy bar. We could jam in Joe's garage. His mama was screaming and his dad was mad. We was playing the same old song in the afternoon, and sometimes we would play it all night long. It was all we knew and easy too, so we wouldn't get it wrong. All we did was bend the string like, hey, down in Joe's garage. We didn't have no dope or LSD, but a couple of quarts of beer would fix it so the intonation would not offend your ear. And the same old chords going over and over became a symphony. We could play it again and again and again, 'cause it sounded good to me. One more time. We could jam in Joe's garage. His mama was screaming, turn it down. We was playing the same old song in the afternoon, and sometimes we would play it all night long. It was all we knew and easy too, so we wouldn't get it wrong. Even if we played it on the saxophone.
Nice.
We thought we was pretty good. We talked about keeping the band together, and we figured that we should. 'Cause about this time we was getting the eye from the girls in the neighborhood. They'd all come over and dance around like so we picked out a stupid name, had some cards printed up for a couple of bucks, and we was on our way to fame.
I love the horns.
Boots and a sign on the back of the car, and we was ready to work in a go-go bar.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if you've got some more.
Hey.
People seemed to like our song. They got up and danced and made a lot of noise, and it wasn't for very long. A guy from a company we can't name said we ought to take his pen and sign on the line for a real good time, but he didn't tell us when. These good times would be something that was really happening. So the band broke up,
Oh no.
and it looks like we will never play again. Guess you only get one chance in life to play a song that goes like well, the years is rolling by, heavy metal and little rock and talk the public eye. Snotty boys with lipstick on, really flying high. But then they got that disco thing and new wave came along. And all of a sudden I run the time.
New wave.
And come for that old song. We used to play it.
You can hear it.
And if I am not wrong,
The synths came in.
you'll be dancing to the
White zone is for loading and unloading only. If you can load or unload,
so the years is rolling by. The years is rolling by. So the years is rolling by. So the years is rolling by.
Someone shut that shit up. He was a very nice boy.
Scrutinizer. That was Joe's first confrontation with the law.
The law.
Naturally, we were easy on him. One of our friendly counselors gave him a donut and told him to stick closer to church-oriented social activities.
You know what's so funny is I can't help but feel that already this story is somewhat, I don't know, there's some kind of truth in there, like that some of this stuff happened, because I swear in Frank's music, like his details are so interesting. Like he's got, like I said, the the conceptual continuity you guys always talk about, but I always find it funny how just on the money like he is with stuff. Like he was talking about, what was it? What did he say in the first song? I was like, wait, what? What did he just say? The credit score? You guys had that back then? I thought that was a new invention, like in the past 20 or 30 years. That's crazy, because this is 1978 when he probably wrote this. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting. He's very prophetic. Even if you guys did have that back then, and I'm just an idiot, that works too. But still, I don't know, man. I just feel like this is somewhat. I don't know if it's like his story per se. It's probably like an allegory, obviously, and it's but I don't know, it's just the details are just so ingrained in it. Like it's in some guy's name, Joe's garage, and the mom's getting mad at them and stuff like that and calls the cops. I don't know, that's probably happened to plenty of people. You know what I'm saying? My mom called the cops on me a few times, but it wasn't for band practice, it was for some other activities, unfortunately. So whatever. So that Central Scrutinizer character, he slipped up there and he said "we" when he was talking about the law at the end of that second song. So I'm guessing the Central Scrutinizer is something to do with the I guess it's I love how they say, it's the separation of church and state, but I don't know. Is that what it really is? I'm not gonna say nothing. Frank, he knew stuff, man. He was, I don't know, he was one of those weird cats that just for some reason always had that sly grin on his face in some kind of way, because he knew more than you did, because he probably did. He seemed like he paid attention, bro. And I love that he can just turn whatever events or just stuff he made up in his head, if this is just made up shit, and turned it into this gigantic epic story that's told throughout music. Like that song was honestly his most straightforward song I've heard so far, but it's because it's in the story that's Joe's band, or whatever, what I'm saying, the band that's practicing in Joe's garage, so they're playing that typical kind of rock and roll song, and then he mentioned new wave coming along. I thought that was funny, and then they added the synth lines and stuff like that. So it's very there's lots of details. It's engrossing. There's a lot of stuff going on, and unfortunately I've heard the ending, so I know what happens at the end. One of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard happens at the end, to be honest, but I can't wait to reach that song at the end. Again, I know it's going to take a while, so we're going to have to work through this piece by piece, obviously, because Zappa's very, well, not him, obviously, he's no longer with us, but whoever is in charge of his music rights, they are, they're picky about, the longer videos for some reason, so I try to keep them short so they're not, on my ass, too much. They already are, they always are, and unfortunately, the bigger I get, the more they will be, so I guess that's just that's the curse of these channels getting bigger and bigger, which I'm super grateful for, obviously, and I don't understand it, but I'm gonna keep going, and it's I don't know, man. I don't know. I've put a lot of work into this channel, you know what I mean? So it's special to me, and there's been a lot of stuff going on lately that could have taken it away. So I don't know. I've been feeling very protective of it lately. I'm just glad that it hopefully will be fine now. So that's Frank Zappa on lead guitars and vocals, Frank Cucurullo on rhythm guitar and vocals, Denny Wally, slide guitar vocals, Ike Willis on lead vocals, Peter Wolf on keyboards, Tommy Mars on keyboards for Act 1, Arthur Barrow, bass guitar, and he played guitar on Joe's Garage as well. Ed Mann on percussion, Vinny Caliuta on drums, Combustible Vapors, and Optometric Abandon. Jeff Holly on tenor sax, Marginal Chagrin, which is, I guess, Earl Dumler on baritone sax, Bill Nugent on bass sax, and Dale Bozio on vocals. And obviously there's other people on there too. There's a whole cast of characters that aren't even musicians that are on the album too. There are how many sides? There's 3 acts, right? 1, 2. Yeah, 3 acts. So there's 3 CDs, bro. The next songs are called Catholic Girls and Crew Slut. That should be interesting. I don't know. I really enjoyed the first one, just like how dark and, I don't know, grimy it felt. That felt like that almost like industrial side of Frank, you know, with that bass and the drums just pounding and that strange voice. And eventually it turned into like something from Freak Out, because you could hardly understand what he was saying, but he was spitting though. The Scrutinizer was spitting there at the end of that first track. I was like, oh my God, bro. He was saying real words, but like you just couldn't understand them basically, which is very interesting. There's a lot of layers to this already, I could tell, you know, and I wonder if it's a story, you know, if it really does drive him crazy and stuff like that. I wonder if it is autobiographical in a way, you know, because that's what the music industry does. Unfortunately, it will chew you up and spit you out like you didn't exist. You know, most people don't even get to own their own, you know, stuff basically. Unfortunately, you know, they just sell it to people or they already own it, you know, and there are some lucky people that do everything themselves and don't sign contracts and stuff like that, and they get to own their stuff, and good job, you know. But a lot of people aren't like that, and it's a dirty business, unfortunately. But still, I think the music at the end of the day should be worth it. The art is what comes first, you know. I think that's always what it boils down to, and Frank knew that, you know. He had his fun in his own way, but he always put the music first, you know, and that's what it should be. And it shows because there's so much detail and beauty in his music, and just sometimes, frankly, this grotesque nature of it, you know. And I think that's what honestly gives it its beauty, because there's the contrast. Because, you know, once you get to Watermelon and Easter Hay, it's like bliss basically, you know. And then there's different parts of it, and I've only heard 3 songs, and I already love it. You know what I mean? I would have loved it from Watermelon and Easter Hay, you know. So I'm excited to hear more. I don't know what my favorite thing would be, because that was kind of like I don't know, it's a concept album, so like, you know, those weren't indicative of the entire album, you know. I guess like my favorite part of it would be like the vocals, like from the Central Scrutinizer. I think that's awesome. Just the instrumental in the first track alone, that was sick. But you know, the second one, that was more of them like playing a role, or like, you know what I'm saying, it's part of a concept album, and they're, you know, he's being that band, and they were very straightforward, you know. But at the end it kind of did start to fall apart, and you know, they added little layers to it here and there as the story progressed, and I think that's very interesting, you know. I can't imagine the work that went into something like this, especially if it's freaking 3 albums. Are you kidding me, bro? So much. And I bet there was stuff he didn't even use for it either, you know. That's Frank. He's got probably more material he didn't release that he did release, and he released, you know, 10 musicians worth of music, you know. So hats off to him, man. I can't wait to hear the rest, because that was a great intro. And honestly, the whole Joe's Garage thing, you know, like, it's true, you know. A lot of bands thought like that, you know. They just literally played in someone's garage, played in a storage unit. That's what I did. And then you come home and then nothing really comes of it, you know, and shit falls apart. And it just happens to a lot of people, you know. But some people do get lucky and they stay together, and for whatever reason, you know, and they make it big. And I'm glad that Frank did, you know, because his music is so unique. There's no one else like him. That's the number one thing. No one is like Frank Zappa, for better or for worse. You know what I'm saying? He's his own genre, as you guys told me in the very beginning, and he really is. And you can just, from these 2 tracks alone, like, who else sounds like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, just the way to, whoop, I got a little excited there. Let me put that down. It kind of, how it just flowed together, and it's this whole narrative, and it's crazy how the music affected the lyrics, and the lyrics affected the music, and just vice versa. It's like this endless cycle of them just affecting each other. And great extra percussion flourishes throughout when, the story was, action was happening. It's like a movie basically, but with music and words instead of pictures on a screen. I think that's very interesting, obviously. Frank was a goddamn genius. He really was. So I'm excited to hear the rest. I'll see y'all next week for, I guess, the next, 2 or 3 songs. This is more of like the intro video, and I am running short on time tonight, so I couldn't do more than 2. So I'll see y'all next week for the rest. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.